I wasn't intending to create any more videos for the foreseeable future while I focus on my upcoming book, Freedom and Politics. It's going to take a part of my attention away. But some things in life are just too important to miss. It's really important that we speak up on things, and if we see an issue in society, and I think raise awareness. And like I say, I think there's certain topics in life that you just can't ignore. And as you can see by the title, this is abuse. I was going to title it financial abuse because it was more pertinent to that. But there's a situation, there's a video I've seen, and it starts off that way, but then you start to realize it goes deeper than just the financial side, of course. But the thing about a lot of people, before we get onto this, I'm going to show it in a minute in the clips that I've seen it in. So I haven't seen the entire video. I've just seen a segment, then a segment, then a segment. And it's easy to fall into the trap of siding with someone when you don't know the whole facts. You know, when you hear one little aspect, you might think, oh, they're the victim. It turns out the other one's the victim, you know. So you can never be totally sure. But what we should never allow is anyone to dominate us. And I personally feel very strongly about this. I've spoke about it in my book somewhere. I've done so many topics throughout all my books. But I speak quite openly to the fact that, yeah, okay, people attach far too much to money, especially if you've worked hard for it and you deserve it and it's yours. But keeping yourself bound to it, even when life is incredibly toxic and you're being abused, just because you won't let it go, it makes no sense. It really makes no sense. I personally think it's far more healthy for us to cut ties with it. Don't let money, material things, no matter how much you treasure it, you know, don't allow that to constrain you to a life that is making you miserable and you lose yourself in the process. It makes no sense. Again, before we go on to this video, there was a situation, not quite the same, but you might lean on it for a bit of inspiration. It's a guy I worked with a few years ago now, I think about back in 2022, I think. Anyway, so it's a good few years ago, maybe 4 years ago or so. And I got talking to him. I'm quite good at talking to people. So I was in a warehouse. It's a warehouse place, and this person was just doing the cleaning and stuff. So he was the one picking up the cardboard. He was walking around doing all that. Some people look down at people. Again, I think by sharing the whole thing, you might see a bit of humility in things. It might be inspiring. So some people look down at them. You know, they just think they're a cleaner. They just think they're there to do that. I see everybody as the same. I talk about it a lot. I never look up at people, down at people. We're all people. We're just performing different tasks in our roles and for different reasons. Talking to him, he was doing that as, I think it was more towards retirement thing for him. It was pace slowing down. It gives him somewhere to go, gives him some money, and it's a simple task. So for him, it was relaxed. It was just chill. He can just get on with it. Someone else looks down at him and thinks, you know, they're beneath him. It's just crazy. You only know someone's story by talking to him. And what happened, and I find this with a lot of people, there's a lot of trauma attached to people that, again, people wouldn't notice if you don't bother paying attention. This person had got a divorce, separated from his partner. He was a lot older, about 60s or so. So he's really, you know, getting to the later ends of life. So they had a home together. They had all sorts. The wife cheated on him. And the wife got the house and everything else, you know. And this seems to be quite prevalent. There's a lot of entitled people out there. I'm not going to go to all that societal thing now. But a lot of people suffer at the expense of someone else. He was quite bitter about it. Like, you know, you could tell he missed them to a degree, but it was vengeful about it. Like, he wasn't letting it go. Now, I've had my trauma. I've had false allegations made against me and all those things. I talk quite open about it because I didn't do anything wrong. So why should I be worried about someone's opinion on something that was false allegation, you know? So you could get stigmatized. Again, I don't care. I've shared what I went through. And I felt really, really bitter at the time. You know, of course you do. You know, you've been targeted with something. They're ruining your life. You're going to feel really, really frustrated. And it's not fair. We outgrow that emotion, though. We mature. We heal. So I'd been on my journey for a while. And I've healed beyond the circumstance to the best I can. And I can't remember when that happened for him. But I felt maybe it was a similar time frame. I don't know. But I recognized that I had my battles to go through as well. And I was far more grounded in how I was approaching life. And he wasn't healing. That was the problem. And I made that point to him. You know, he wouldn't let go of the fact that they took his whole life away from him, and especially his money. And a lot, not to say especially his money, but you know, you can't make someone love you and stay with you for love of things like that. But when someone's took your money, I guess that's something else. It's personal. You've worked hard for that. They've took it off you. I can't remember the exact circumstances with that. I don't know if you spent it or what happened, but he wasn't letting it go. And I made the point to him that attachment to it and that vengefulness you're feeling, I said it might be valid, but it's not doing you any good. Being like that towards someone is just holding you prisoner to the circumstance. You have to let it go. And of course, he'd try arguing back slightly, trying to say, well, I'm not getting it. You have to let it go because you can earn more money. I know it's not fair. And just leave someone to their own life, you know. It's like you just have to cut your losses because you're not going to find happiness in places of misery and trauma. You're just not going to find it there. And so after a bit of a conversation with him, because I understood where he was coming from, but I was trying to make him see it from a different angle. Remove yourself from the circumstance and look at your life. Look what that situation's doing to you. It's like, get your life back. So after that, he was like, wow, yeah. And he started walking around, figuring it out. Like, yeah, wait a minute. Yes, that's true. So that's my point. It's not saying it's fair, but our life has more meaning than the things we have. So tying ourselves to a person or a circumstance that's not good for us, just because we might lose something that maybe society thinks is important, it really isn't. You know, you have to get away from the feeling of, I lost this battle and that person wins. This competition is just not healthy. Someone can perceive, on the other side, for instance, the other person might think, oh, I won. Who cares what they talk about? Who cares how they feel about the situation? It's empty. It's pointless. It's our ego running rampant. You know, I can't let them win. What's it got to do with you if they win or lose? It's nothing to do with your life. Until you can cut that situation off and move on with your life, you're never going to make peace with the situation. And it's up to people to work that out. But people will find themselves stuck in toxic circumstances, held prisoner because they don't let go. And they don't want to reset. And it's not fair. How often is life fair? It's up to us to build the life we want. And you have to let go sometimes. Rebuild. Anyway, so that's me coming into this. So that was my background. That's me coming into this situation now. Then I see this toxic situation, and all I'm thinking towards the end. Now, bear in mind, we get a negative opinion of someone who's actually, from gathering more information, it might not be that everybody's 100% innocent, but they're certainly they're certainly not the perpetrator. So we might think this person is the bad egg, but it turns out they're not. And the reality is they're better off. And I think most people are going to see this. And it's easy to see it in someone else, but can we see it in ourselves? That's the big thing. It's easy for someone to watch and go, that's toxic. I'd get myself out of there. But would you? There's so many people that it's easy to say it, but they don't do it. You've got to respect and love yourself enough to let go of toxic circumstances, you know. So we're going to show it now. I'm going to sit in the order, roughly the order I saw it in. And it's not exactly, but I mean, there's only one or two videos that may be just the wrong way round in terms of the order I saw them, but I'm going to show it in the way we see it. And yeah, if I feel there's something to comment on, I'll comment, but I'd rather people consume the information in their own way and just see how bad this is. I don't think I need to comment, to be totally honest. Now, bear in mind what I just said about her. She's not, because I think it's important to just reveal that early on, just to show that she's not actually the bad one, although I thought she was.
Agree with that. I will never agree with the path you took.
Then take it yourself. If what I do is so easy, do it.
I already I have my degree.
Okay.
I did the 2-year program.
What's your
I have
degree?
my degree. Funeral directing.
Well, again, so you're just getting the demand that kind of comes with that. You're getting the pay that you signed up for the degree that you knew the pay. I mean, that's fair.
He knew the pay for his role as well.
That's
shouldn't have.
That's why I did it.
How did you go from 19 an hour to 80K?
Because he's a software engineer.
Yeah.
What do you do besides sit at a computer all day?
Doesn't matter. It's
type
what the
on the
market-
computer.
Doesn't matter. It's what the market demands. It literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, what the market demands is what the market demands. We don't live in, like, communism.
I don't agree with it.
Is it jealousy?
A little bit.
Okay.
I went to college for 2 years. I did the classes for 2 years.
Yeah, but you knew the pay, though, when you went into it, right? So you're choosing to pursue that path, but you knew the pay.
I still think that I should not always make less than you. I will always make less than you.
Not necessarily. The high end for a funeral director is probably on the higher end of what I can make as a salaried software engineer.
What?
Because
Is that true?
if she were to ultimately open her own funeral home after
A
years,
whole business, though, with
yeah.
loans and all this shit.
yeah, that's typically the end goal for funeral directing.
Yeah, I don't.
Right, okay, I wasn't going to comment. This side is a bit entitled. This side is a bit in competition, and it's just feeling that you're not getting paid enough for what you do. But again, the whole concept of that, of course, like they've just said, is, if that's what the market is, it's a bit like me. I go into warehouse logistics that pays crap. I have a forklift licenses. It doesn't put the price up, the value up at much more. It just doesn't give you a much, does it? But what I do to improve my life, invest in me, is through my books and things, and that can change my life. So it's up to us where we invest our time and energy and what we feel is going to be beneficial to us, isn't it? But you can't. So, for instance, let's say there's people I used to work with in a warehouse and things, and then maybe they think, I'm reckless, do what I do when I go off and do my own projects. And let's say my life changes and money's no longer an object. Maybe they feel it's not fair. I work all day doing all this. It's a grind. It's doing all this. And look, you're not even having. Well, once the books are done, they're done, aren't they? So how's that fair that you get passive income? You may potentially make more money in the future. Like if money was coming in, for instance, really well, all of a sudden that's not fair. But it's not about what you deem fair. It's like what you do something about it. You can't complain about someone else's life choices and what got them where they're going and things. If you're responsible for your path, so you can't worry about your salary and say, "Oh, it's not fair. This isn't fair." Change it. People always think it's easy for someone else. It's like, how is it any easier for someone else? It's just they had the courage to go out to pursue something else and do it a different way. You can't sit there in a situation feeling sad for yourself, not doing anything to change it. Being in competition like that is just so regressive. So going into this video, naturally I'm thinking, oh, she's quite self-entitled. She'd rather he had less money just so she doesn't feel insecure. That makes no sense at all. That's what I was getting from the video. And it's like, wow. That's toxic as shit. Then we get more into it. But I think this side of the conversation was, yeah, she's not representing herself very well. But now we start seeing a different side to him.
You blame me for everything you've done wrong.
Like what?
You just like to hide behind me being domineering as the ultimate excuse of you can't do anything wrong. You can hide behind me and say that's why you don't talk to your family, when in reality you don't talk to them because you set that boundary.
I don't talk to them because my mother quite literally said she wants nothing to do with me as long as you're in my life.
And that's a choice you made. I didn't tell you to do that. She gave you the ultimatum.
And you're also the reason I don't talk to my brother. Or my nephews.
Why don't you talk to them?
Because issues with the wedding.
And what were the issues?
Just people didn't want to cooperate.
And why didn't they want to cooperate?
Because you were, I don't even know what to call it. You were in charge of every single decision with the wedding.
You blame.
So leading up to that, yeah, he made good rebuttals, didn't he? We make our choices in life. If you didn't want your mother to fall out with you and you chose me, then you could have chose your mother and ended the relationship. So you're watching it thinking, okay, yeah, she made her decisions. That's the consequence if her family don't agree with him. You can't blame someone for your family falling out. If you had the choice, you made the choice. You can't hold that over someone your entire life. But I think we started getting a little bit of a warning sign towards the end. The fact that he was controlling, and then it was again a bit, that's setting it up.
Her mom literally held her wedding dress to prevent her from getting married to you.
Well, her mother is very much a narcissist, and she thinks
Also, it's her mother's fault. Yet all the debt is literally yours and not hers at all whatsoever. And you said she needs to learn how to budget.
Yeah.
All the debt is you.
Yeah, she didn't have debt before me, but she didn't have a degree either. So,
I also didn't have collections before you.
and you didn't have a job either. You didn't have a driver's license either. I helped teach you to drive. I got you a car.
So what are you, my savior?
Maybe.
Her
Well, it seems to me. I mean, you're going to hear his level of debt now. I think it might be next. It might not be, but his level of debt is insane. So where he's saying, I've got a degree, you didn't have a degree. Well, she still doesn't have a degree. He has the degree. Oh, no, maybe she just earned a degree. Well, she did that herself. I don't really understand that. But the point is, the things he has are all financed by the sound of it. So even if they have things, it's all a massive debt that he's accruing, and it's compounding upon both of them because they're married. So his poor lifestyle choices are affecting her, and he's acting all entitled because he has a more superior paying job. But if they was to leave that relationship, let's say everything's in his name because that's the debt he got, although if he is controlling and narcissistic, he may have done it in her name, but then that's fraud anyway. But let's say he's got the debt, he's got a decent income. He hasn't got enough to finance his debt, by the way. And then let's say she earns less, but she doesn't have the debt. If she walks away, yeah, okay, life's going to be hard because she's got a limited income, but she doesn't have a lot of baggage. If she walks away, he's still stuck with this crap. So he's acting all entitled like he's better than her and he's doing all this. It's like, mate, you're living in a whirlwind of chaos. And I think people leaving that is probably it's going to be a lot healthier for them in the long run, for sure. So anyway, let's go down another one.
She never really had to work until she was done with college because I just didn't make her.
What's your degree? Make her.
Yeah.
Make her. This is lining up with everything I've heard before, by the way. Make her. What is it? Make her? What the f you mean make her?
Well, so she's never she's had to work in the past, but not while in college. So I just let her not.
Let her not? So now what is it? Let her make. Well, here's the thing. I know you guys applied because you said she needs to learn how to budget.
Yeah.
All the debt is you.
Yeah.
And not only that, again, usually I really do go in blind, but I think I wanted to read this morning. Take a little look. Dude, her mom literally held her wedding dress to prevent her from getting married to you. You're an issue. You're a problem. Something's f***ed up.
Well, the thing is, so her mother is very much a narcissist, and she thinks
It's her mother's fault, not you, the problem, who says she needs the budget, yet all the debt is literally yours and not hers at all whatsoever, and you're deciding whether or not to let her work or make her work.
Yeah, she didn't have debt before me, but she didn't have a degree either. So
I also didn't have collections before you.
And you didn't have a job either.
I had a job before you.
You didn't when we got together. You didn't when you moved in. You didn't until well after graduating. You didn't have a driver's license either. I helped teach you to drive. I got you a car.
So what are you, my savior?
Maybe.
Well, that's an interesting perspective to put you at. It's almost like you kind of... I don't want to throw out buzzwords. I'm not in that part of the internet. I'm not one of those virtue signaling freaks, but I mean, the mom said you'd murder her. You kind of locked her in, didn't let her work, engaged to her immediately, separated her from her family. It's a little groom-esque.
She could have worked if she wanted. I wouldn't have prevented her from.
Force her, let her, and now walking that back third time being like, you wouldn't prevent her. It's not really the language you used. Your mom was literally afraid, her mom was literally afraid that you might murder her. That's not even an exaggeration. Literally was afraid. That's not narcissism. Narcissists aren't afraid of murder. You kind of groomed her.
She never really
You literally forced her to quit her job, which would give her some sense of financial independence if she needed to leave.
My previous job was a collections agent at a bank.
And you forced her to quit.
Yeah.
You kind of groomed her, separating from the family, not letting them work, controlling the finances.
Yeah, I mean, she could have walked away at any time.
I couldn't have. He controlled the finances. I didn't know what the bank accounts looked like, and he got mad at me every time I looked.
She literally doesn't talk to her mother now because of you. You've basically cut her off from the world. That's red flags galore, dude.
Yeah.
You literally forced her to quit her.
I'm not sure there's another one left.
Everything leads
Yeah, there's something big going on here in a minute.
to divorce with you. Everything's ground for divorce.
Manipulator. Grooming manipulator. Get out for a second. I want to talk to her alone. Get the f*** out for a second. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you safe?
Generally, yes.
Generally, yes. That is not the answer someone wants to hear. What is generally yes?
We do have fights. They get pretty intense.
Tell me.
There have been a couple times where he's physically threatened me. He will push me. He will shove me. There was one fight in particular that got very intense, and he grabbed like the collar of my shirt and yanked me back, and it choked me.
We did not know this, did we? Okay. Okay, this is going a different direction. First of all, I'm going to let you know that is beyond unacceptable. That is disgusting, unacceptable, and there's really not words to describe it. We will get you contact information, especially for any kind of local group we can find, but certainly national. I need to be very clear. Next time that happens, couple options. Definitely call those numbers, those resources we provide. I would say text us. Is just like, I want to make sure that what is happening has an instant response, so it's like, definitely feel free to keep us updated. We'll try our best. Lindsay's going to give you her personal phone number, she just said. Because, I don't think you realize just how that actually is. I really don't. You've been trapped inside of this.
I've been looking past it.
Yes. Well, you've been cut off from your outside world. It's terrifying.
Everything leads to...
One thing I will say, and I don't know if it gets said anywhere near enough. You don't try to hurt someone you love. The moment someone does that, they don't love you. So heed that warning immediately. That's the alarm bell right there. Don't think that's normal. Let's say you've come out of toxic relationships and you've had one after another. You maybe don't even think they're all toxic. You just think it's a bad breakup. No, it's toxic. That's toxic. You shouldn't be trying to hurt someone you love. And if you do, then you don't love them. Or at least you've got no emotional regulation. To put up with that on any level is just wrong. So in a healthy relationship, you should be supporting, uplifting each other. Try to help people achieve their goals and dreams. That's what should be happening. So, yeah, don't normalize abuse.
I think you just didn't want to admit that you don't have the funds.
Also, I know a lot of you want me to bring up to him what was talked about when he was outside of the room. We're going to do that in the post-show. I'm going to need a second to think about it. Okay, and then there's an additional $362 from Progressive. Couldn't pay that. Oh, what are you looking at her for?
Nothing.
Look, did you see that look? Chat, did you see that look? Did you guys see that look? That was a look of concern. You afraid? Should be.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, you'll be rolling away.
Yeah, I'll find the nearest hill and just spin.
No, you'll find the nearest buffet.
Well, you guys do have a CC's here.
Yeah, we have CC's.
We don't.
$3,326. Oh, wait, no, there's an addition. Okay. All right, an extra collection, $562. This was LVNV funding. That might be the collector, but Capital One.
Another credit card I had during college that I just didn't.
So you couldn't literally do anything ever.
Yeah.
Once! How the fuck?
You said that's another credit card? I thought you only had one in college.
No, I had 3.
And when were you going to tell me?
Oh my gosh.
When were you going to ask?
What?
I think you just didn't want to admit that
I try to have the numbers right in my head just because I like to know information.
you don't have the funds.
Also, I know a lot of you want me to bring up to him what was talked about when he was outside of the room. We're going to do that in the post-show. I'm going to need a second to think about it. Okay, and then there's an additional $362 from Progressive.
Is that thousands? That's what I kept thinking. It was thousands. $360. If it's $362, why would you give a shit? You can pay that back. He must have like massive amounts of debt. That's what I thought. Hundreds of thousands.
Couldn't pay that? Oh, what are you looking at her for?
Nothing.
Look, did you see that look? Chat, did you see that look? Did you guys see that look? That was a look of concern. You afraid? Should be.
So he hid all of this going into a relationship and even getting married. He hid all of this debt. And his answer to that was, you didn't ask. And if he's as domineering as he's coming across here now, and she's already said, if we pay attention, she's already said previously that anytime I bring up finances, he gets defensive and gets angry. So if he gets defensive and angry whenever you mention finances, how could she have ever got to the high level of debt that he's in because he didn't want to go there. So he's contradicting himself. Yeah, he's really
I think
a monster, isn't he? I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. The guy's a monster. There's people like that, I've got no idea how they get in relationships. Like, who would find that attractive? Like, I'm not talking about aesthetics. You can judge that for yourself. But when you talk about the human being that someone is, why would you even want to be around that or around that for a long time? It's really important people heed the warning signs going into connections. You know, are they defensive? Are they transparent and open about things? Because if you're going to get into a lifetime connection, potentially, it becomes a love interest, then you need to be vulnerable. You need to share your situation. Then it's up to them whether they can handle it. And, you know, I always say that. It's up to people have the prerogative to say no. It's okay to say no. And it's up to them. So, like, for instance, let's say I was in amounts of loads of debt. I'm transparent, even with the public now. You know, I've not got that much debt. My finances are hard because I don't have enough income at the moment. It's tough. Okay, that's my circumstance. I'm transparent with the world, let alone a freaking relationship. My level of debt isn't even a lot. You know, when I add it up total, I think maybe about $5,000. And that's only because of different things. You know, I have there's a previous tax overpayment. I think that's got to get sorted out in bits. There's a phone contract, £1,000 for a mobile phone. That's really why it's higher. You take those two. I left employment with one of my employers. They paid me the monthly pay, and they calculated it because you'd had holiday in the tax in that year. You know, that financial year. When I left, they then sent me a bill for £1,500. And I was like, what? That can't be right. So I argued it with them, and they explained it. They broke it down, and then we come up with a payment plan, which I'm still doing now. So I've been paying that for about 2 years now, I think. I've been paying about £31, I think £30-something a month. I pay back towards that. We come to an agreement. It's manageable to me. It brings that they're more than happy to have it in payments coming down. So again, but like I say, when I say like that amount of money, it can seem a lot, but nowhere near what this guy's got, and it's being managed anyway. Pay off the mobile phone, pay off the arrears with this overpayment with the wages, which is more than doable. I don't know how far I'm down on that now. I'm guessing I've still got maybe 2 or 3 years of that, £31. But when my finance improve, I'll just pay it off. And then there's a few other little things here, another thing here, another thing here. It might not even reach £5,000. I'm just saying that for transparency. That's the top end of it, £5,000. Whether it's that much, it might not even be that far. So I'm transparent in that in my life, aren't I? So I always say that even while my finances are hard, it can change so quick. So if my finances improve, it's not hard for me to recover the losses. Whereas someone that's maybe got, let's say they're earning good money, half decent money, but they've got £500,000 in freaking debt. Who cares what they're earning there? Can you take on the weight of that? Because that's probably going to take you freaking 20 years plus to freaking solve that crisis. Mine's not a crisis like that. Mine will be solved within the year or so, you know, in bits. It's not that. That's my problem, but it wouldn't affect someone else. And that's my situation. And yet I'm transparent, even though I'm not even in a relationship. And I don't even have to talk about those things. I'm just an open book. So yeah, I'm not interested. But I'd expect someone to have the same honesty with me. That's all. And then it's up to me to decide if I can take that on. In the same way, it's for someone to decide whether they're ready to take something on as well. You know, same way I have a child. She's 15 now. Would someone be prepared to take that on? That's their choice. It's not for me to control someone and tell them, oh, that's wrong if you don't. No, you have your own. Everybody has free will to their lifestyle choice. If that's not something you're interested in, I absolutely understand that. You're not bound to it. You're not tied to it. It's not your circumstance to worry about. So you could get to go into free will one way or another. But there's too many people that hide truths, the facts, and they sucker people in, and then they detach them from their groups, the people they know. I mean, I'm always transparent about that. Like me, I'm more of a homebody, you know. I'm all right when I'm around people, and I can get on really well. But if I have an absolute choice, I'd rather just stay home. That's what I'm like. Unless obviously I want to go out traveling and do things, but I prefer small groups than big groups. I cope well in big groups when I'm in the environment, but I'd rather not be in those environments if I'm choosing. So if you're asking me what I want, a close circle of people that I'm more than happy. For instance, my daughter and then a potential partner. That group's good to me. That's my happy space. So it doesn't mean I can't enjoy our company of people, but if you're asking me, I'd much rather just spend my time in that unit. And that's just me. So let's say I'm in a relationship with someone and they like to have coffee dates with friends. They like to go and visit their family quite often. You know, it doesn't mean I'll be that antisocial. I won't go and go join them if they want me to join them, and it's nice in bits. But let's say it was always quite frequent. It's like I wouldn't say to someone, you have to sit here with me and hold my hand. No, you go do what you want to do. Because as long as you don't mind that I'm doing this, like, you understand each other, it's not a problem, is it? So I think it's about respecting what each other like, and is it compatible in that sense? Like, can you work that out together? But I think the idea that you tell someone you can't hang out with this people, you can't have this lifestyle because it doesn't match what I want for me, that makes no sense. I'm not someone's freaking handler. That's what it comes down to, isn't it? Some people in relationships act like you own someone. No, you don't. If you can't trust someone, there's no point being together anyway. I think personally that's what it comes down to a lot of time anyway, doesn't it? So you shouldn't even need to feel to control someone, even if that was an overriding feeling. If you can't trust someone, don't be in a relationship together. And if you love someone, don't hurt them. It's quite simple.